Perhaps one of the most critical factors in the success of your flight training is the type of instructor you have. I'm not talking about their experience level, how many hours they have, or anything like that. I'm talking about their personality. And a good insight into their personality type is whether they are a Gold Seal flight instructor. A Gold Seal flight instructor is a CFI whose students have achieved an 80% pass rate on their first try at their check rides. So that may or may not be reflective of the CFI's abilities and skills. I personally have had students that have made me look really good, and it was really easy to put them up for a check ride. So you might be thinking, that sounds really good to me. I think I would want a Gold Seal flight instructor. Let's look a little bit deeper. I'm going to tell you what prompted me to make this video, and you'll understand in a minute why I needed to make it. But first, whenever I meet a student pilot, especially a new one, I always make a point to remind them that they are the customer, that they need to be getting what they want out of their flight training. Sometimes we forget that because when we get into this world, we don't know much about it, and we look to our CFI as the person who knows everything about it, and they're guiding us through it. And so we just take what they have to say about everything. That's not how it should work. In every other transaction in your life where there is an exchange of money for goods and services, you're going to make sure you get what you want out of it, or you're not going to pay for it, or you're not going to go to that provider anymore. It should be the same way with flight instructors. So the other day I was in Houston and I was talking with my friend who's an aircraft mechanic who's also working on his private pilot license. And I asked him how his training was going, and he was very frustrated because he feels like he's right about there and he's ready to be scheduled for a check ride, because you have to schedule DPEs weeks in advance. Well, he's considering going with a DPE that's available sooner, but his instructor will not allow that. She wants him to take a check ride with two of the DPEs that she's familiar with, and they're booked weeks out. And she won't let him choose another DPE because she has all the gouge for these other two DPEs. Now, real quick, gouge just means that she has some insider information based on her students coming back from check rides with these DPEs and basically telling her, what their emphasis items were and what the check ride was like, and passing that on to her students, which is good. It's helpful. CFIs should do that. But they should not limit who their students can take a check ride with if they're ready to take a check ride, because that's going to cost them more money to stay proficient leading up to the check ride. So she doesn't want him taking a check ride with somebody that she's not familiar with. So my friend, the student pilot, is really frustrated with this because it's costing him more money. And I said, I think I know what's going on here. I think they're after their Gold Seal. And he goes, she is a Gold Seal. And I said, there you go. Sounds like there's a reputation that she's trying to protect. So she's going to drag out this check ride to give it the best chance possible that he passes so that it doesn't reflect poorly on her. So Gold Seal in and of itself is not a bad thing, but it can be evidence that that instructor's self-interest is above that of the student. So if you feel like your instructor is driving the ship without any input from you, and they're not taking into account, any considerations that you have, well, then you've got a very self-interested instructor. If the CFI is more interested in their reputation as a flight instructor than they are in helping you accomplish your goals, you are going to have a frustrating flight training experience. I wanted to confirm this theory with one of my coworkers who I had just met the other day. And so I asked him, hey, are you a Gold Seal CFI? And he goes, no, I could have been, but I just didn't want to do the paperwork to put in for it. That tells you something about him right there, okay? Somebody who wants to do extra paperwork with the FAA when they don't have to might not be the personality that you're looking for. But for some of you that might have that same personality type, that might be the instructor for you. And that's okay, because we have all personality types in this profession. And I do mean all personality types. And because this coworker whom I had just met seemed like a really pleasant, normal, sharp guy, I just kind of took a chance and I just threw it out there and I said, so you didn't want to do the paperwork probably because I'm assuming it just wasn't that important to you? And he said, and this is a direct quote, I've never seen it do anything for anybody, and most of them seem pretty difficult to deal with. My thoughts exactly. I could have put in for the Gold Seal CFI. I just wasn't interested in that. Didn't seem like it was worth the time or effort. Again, I'm not saying a Gold Seal is a bad thing, and I'm mainly talking about instructors who haven't had a career in aviation yet. This is their first career in aviation, okay? So the younger instructors. But if you feel like you have an instructor who doesn't ask questions about your personal situation, doesn't ask questions about your goals and what you're working toward and what you want. And you combine that with the fact that they are a Gold Seal instructor, and that gives you some valuable insight into their personality type. So when it comes to choosing instructors, these are some things you need to look for. And if you already have your instructor and you don't want to change your instructor, then this tells you that you need to advocate a little bit more for yourself. Okay, it's not lost on me that this job is a stepping stone to other aviation jobs for instructors, so they do need to be looking out for themselves. I get that. I was there too. But at the same time, their first priority in this job is customer service, right? Which includes teaching and keeping students safe, obviously, but it's customer service, and they need to make sure that the students are getting what they need out of it. So advocate for yourself. Make sure that you take the reins of your flight training and be straight up with your instructor if you need to be. Let them know your concerns, and good luck with your training. Let me know if you had an experience like this. I'd really like to hear about it. So thanks for watching.